Hello everyone, this is Ronnie. Thank you for coming to the channel again. And in this video, what I want to talk about is fruit quality. Because a guy on a forum recently that I was following, he was talking about fruit quality a little bit. Let me pause a second and turn this fan down. And what this man was basically saying was that doing a fruit diet is best, but it's difficult because there is no longer optimal fruit anymore, and that a lot of the fruit that's grown is grown on rootstocks rather than grown from seed, which is correct. And this caused metabolic problems in the trees, and this meant the fruit wasn't as good, blah, 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 blah. And there's a lot of people in the comments going, yep, that's why it didn't work for me. That was me too. I couldn't find good quality fruit, and it was just like, for a start, total nonsense, right? But it's all it does is give people an excuse and a reason to go back to eating all the unhealthy foods. Oh yeah, you can't do a fruit diet because the fruit quality is bad. Yeah, because of the metabolic thing with the dwarfs. So yeah, I could sense that. I could tell that when I went to the shop. I could buy the fruit, and definitely there's a metabolic problem there. You know, in this day and age, when people have been brought up on a diet that kills them, a diet that starts to take their health away from them from a young age, where they're indoctrinated into this terrible diet, where they're addicted to it physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically addicted to it. For people who are trying to promote the raw vegan message to then make up strange concepts and ideas about why the fruit isn't as good as they want it to be is damaging to people, to our cause of trying to get more people to wake up and, you know, be healthy and eat a healthy diet and lifestyle. And firstly, it's not true, right? There is no chance we would have the fruit that we have without the method of growing that we have now, which has been something that was worked on and perfected by farmers for thousands, maybe tens of thousands of years. The oldest crop that we're aware of that people grew, definitely one of the oldest, is fig trees. Fig trees, a fruit that in the wild chimpanzees and apes of our kind of size range eat in huge quantities, and they make up a vast part of their diet, figs. And yet you struggle to find figs in the shops in the UK especially, and definitely it's a struggle to get figs all year round unless you have them dried, of course. But the idea that sorry, I just saw a sign there that said this room's reserved, so maybe I shouldn't be here. Oh well, I'll leave when they tell me. So what I was going to say is, yeah, the way that fruit is grown commercially and all that is maybe not the way that people would like to. I mean, everyone, for some reason, with your junk food, you don't really care about where it comes from, who made it, whether it's organic or not. Just like, give me it now, I don't want to think about it, give me it now, because you're addicted to it, right? So that's how people are with junk food, and how people are with cooked food. When it comes to fruit, people are awfully selective. People become very like, well, let me have a look at that, let me assess that, let me assess the quality. It's not quite the right ripeness for me. Is it organic? Is it biodynamic? How are the workers treated? Like, they don't care about that with all their other foods, but they care about that with fruit. Because fruit is a choice. It's one of the few foods that you have to choose to eat. Most of the other foods people can't help themselves but eat. Like, they're addicted to it, right? Which is, you know, all well and good or whatever. But the way that fruit is grown and I don't understand why any of you, if you're growing fruit, why would you grow it from seed? Don't do that. Don't do that. don't go about taking seeds from your fruit and planting it in your garden, and like maybe 20 years time there'll be a tree. Like, that's not how you do it. You can buy trees. It baffles my mind. It boggles my mind, baffles my mind. Like, I don't know why people are trying to grow fruit from seed when you can plant a tree that's already growing fruit on it to some degree. You can buy apple trees, pear trees, all that stuff. And the way that commercial fruit is grown is that it is grafted. So every fruit that you consume, by the way, every food that you consume pretty much is a clone. Apart from animal products, like animals aren't clones, but they are, like fruits, vegetables, all that stuff, they are clones. Well, definitely fruit are clones. By clone, it means that the original tree has been kept alive, but kept alive in various places and in many different forms. So there was once a Granny Smith apple tree. Turned out a tree grew in Granny Smith's garden in Australia, had some great apples on it. Some statistics: if you were to try and grow apple trees from seeds, your chance of growing a decent apple are 1 in 10,000. So you have to plant 10,000 seeds to get one good apple tree that's like edible. To get one that is commercially viable and edible, 1 in a million. That's your odds if you want to go and grow fruit from seed. Probably different for tropical fruits, but for things like apples and stuff, you're much better off buying the tree, because farmers have experimented for years, planted for years, and figured out over decades like the good varieties and managed to get these varieties that are good for your climate. So focus on those. Just buy trees and plant the trees. Don't try and plant from seed. That's not a great idea. I don't know if these guys out in I've met guys that they go out to the tropics and they get a piece of land and they're going to grow their own fruit, and I don't know if they're trying to grow they're struggling to grow it's like, well, firstly, yeah, I mean, you don't know anything about what you're doing. Some of them claim to be farmers. I'm a farmer. It's like, no, you grow a few fruit trees and you're not even good at it. Like, and you're probably in some area where there's no rain or whatever. Great idea. I'm awfully negative in this video. Sorry about that. But no, you buy trees, you plant the trees. And if you're in a place like Scotland where there's plenty of rain and a little bit of sun, trees do absolutely fine. You need to be a little bit further south for some varieties of fruit. I don't even think pears do that well in where I come from in Glasgow. Pears didn't grow, but apples grow fine, and sometimes that's all you need. And berries grow and all that stuff. Strawberries, blueberries. But most fruit is grafted, so they've taken, they literally take a branch off and then they graft it onto another apple tree. They literally transplant it. That's where the word comes from, transplant. They just put it together, literally, they just like cut the ends off, stick them together, wrap sellotape around it, and it fuses. And you can do that from the root stock, which is the roots, and then the bottom bit. And they've created, in England actually, they created dwarf rootstocks. There's a research place in England that created all the dwarf rootstocks that are used all over the world in fruit tree planting. And it ensured that trees didn't grow to their maximum capacity size. Like apple trees can grow massively, and that's why, once again, you shouldn't just grow from seed, unless you've got unlimited space. But if you've got a garden or something, you don't necessarily want an apple tree that in 20 years kind of takes over the whole neighbourhood. But a dwarf tree in a short period of time will grow you a lot of apples. So, in a small space. So that's what's used in commercial planting of fruit trees, basically, mostly across the world, I believe, in dwarf root stocks and stuff. And this guy's saying there's metabolic damage and all that. I don't really know even what that means, and if it was an issue, the farmers would be aware of it and they would change and they would do something else, because they don't want to damage their trees. They don't want to damage. But going back to the point of fruit quality, we have never had it so good. We have never, ever, ever had it so good. Honestly, we've never, ever had it so good. US, UK, Europe, wherever you go. You know. And I think people perceive that in the tropics it's much better. There's actually less choice in the tropics, because they don't import fruit from so many other countries. Whereas the UK, the US, the EU, they import fruit from so many other parts of the world. We have way more choice than I have here in Copenhagen, you know. So, and the quality is far better, and the nutrition is better. Everything is better. The idea that 100 years ago that there was like awesome fruit, like, it's not the case. It isn't the case. And people have these ideas that, oh yeah, when I was a child the fruit tasted so much better. It's like, when did you even last eat a piece of fruit? Like you're talking about comparing fruit from now to something you ate in the way bygone past that you don't even remember. After 60 years of consuming sugar every day, you're trying to compare a childhood memory of fruit that you ate then with now. There's some misleading research suggesting there's less nutrition in the fruit now than it was before, but it's misleading, misguided, it's wrong, it's, you know, basically different varieties are used now. It's nothing to do with the soil or the farmers doing a bad job. Different varieties grow now that have different quantities of nutrition, but when you use the same varieties, it's the same nutrition. It's just that those varieties are not ones that people enjoy as much. So fruit quality is better now than ever. There is no better time to do a raw vegan diet than now. Because you have an abundance of choice if you want that. So, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. If you want to read my book on this lifestyle, check the link below. Thank you very much.